If y'all know me at all, I will throw a whole $60 bag of fertilizer down in one spot just to see how it responds, okay? I have done it. So when I tell you, hey, this is how much it can take to do something or not do something, you best believe that I've spent hundreds of dollars throwing down that product like an idiot, right? Just to see, like, what's it gonna take. Yo, what's up? It's AJ with Hippie Fertilizing on the More Than Grass podcast. I am here with John from the nursery. What's up, John?
Hey, what's up, man? Good morning, guys.
So thank you for coming, especially on such short notice. For those of you who don't know, which is basically nobody at this point. Right? I called him at like 7 a.m. Hey, what you doing?
I'm here, man. I'm here.
You're here.
To support you.
And I very much appreciate it, sir. So, John, we met last year, right? Over at the nursery, got introduced. Man, you've been helping me out over there and bringing in good supplies. But let me ask you, how long have you had a landscape business before you were in the nursery, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
How long did you have that landscape business?
Well, I had the business for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Yes. I've been in the business for over 30 years.
Almost longer than I've been alive.
Yeah.
And how long have you had the nursery now?
This is going on our fourth season.
The fourth season?
Fourth season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Oh man, and it's been a tough 4 seasons, huh?
This year's been very tough with the heat. Our last year, not coming into this slow economy. Yeah, it's been tough.
Yeah, definitely the drought last year had its challenges. Looks like we're getting more rain this year.
Yeah, that's a major blessing. The rain, it saves me from having to be out there hand watering.
Yeah.
And my employees from being out there watering by hand all the time because the sprinkler systems just don't cut it.
No. So we had the drought last year. We're getting more rain. Now you're out there, your guys are out there. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's already hotter this year, like in June, than it typically is.
Yes, I believe so.
Like it feels like August weather.
It does.
Already. So, maybe, pray to God, man, we might get like October weather early.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that for sure.
Right? Because now I always look at it like we're in the marathon, the marathon of summer.
This is the stretch right here.
Yeah.
8 weeks.
Oh.
The longest 8 weeks of the year.
No, man, it's like 12 weeks.
I'm saying 8.
I'm saying 12, like
I'm
16.
being positive.
We get into like mid-September and it's still blazing hot. And then I don't know about you. Luckily, I think you're in the office a little bit more these days.
Thank God. Yes, I am.
Yeah. Well earned, right?
Yep.
After 30 plus years in the industry. But I'm not, right? So I know last year I was out working. I decided to basically take control over my customers' irrigation systems, which helped tremendously. But we still had problems and like, oh, my lawn is dying and chinch bugs all over the place. I personally felt like by September, I was whipped. I was done.
I felt that way myself last year.
Yeah.
It was grueling. I'm sure glad you brought up that irrigation though. Most people I hear all the time, my plants died, but I watered. Like I hear from people. People have good intentions about watering their plants and they might do it for 2 or 3 weeks and that heat's just grueling, so they forget about it 1 or 2 days, and that can make a big difference on your plants.
And consistency.
Yes.
Even if it's now, obviously, there's differences of if you have an irrigation system versus a sprinkler, right?
Yes.
Big difference. Your volume of water changes drastically. So what an irrigation system does in 10 to 12 minutes on average, you need to run a sprinkler for like an hour and a half.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right?
It doesn't cover as much land, doesn't put out as much water. So
right.
Yeah, definitely.
The volume is a big deal. What I learned last year and what I'm definitely seeing this year, even despite the rain, people, I always tell people, because you remember a couple of years ago, it like rained all summer.
Oh yeah, that's
right?
great.
I'm like, man, if we ain't getting our butt whipped by one thing, it's another.
Yeah.
Uh, so what I learned from that couple years ago, Rain, is people get
Complacent, maybe.
that would be a good term, but they just don't know, right? And at the time, I didn't know yet either. I'm just busy trying to fix lawns. So, and I'm thinking, right, to my detriment and my customers' detriment, that people know better. I'm sorry, y'all. I have learned the hard way that a lot of times you don't. So I'm here to tell you, if it's raining like it's supposed to next week, it's supposed to rain all week.
Well, the problem is it's only like 50%.
No, a couple days are like 88,
Okay,
90%.
then I say, oh, you're pretty good. We're going to get some rain then here in this area. If it's not 75% or more, I don't count on it raining.
Point being is this. If it does happen to rain for a week, we are in summer. Like John and I said, it is feeling like August already. Turn your irrigation back on within 3 days after a heavy rain event.
Oh, at least. Or get a rain sensor and put it on there and let it do it for you.
That's what he says. I will agree to disagree because you want a nice lawn, you want a nice landscape, you need to be in control of that stuff and mindful. Okay. Don't think that because that sensor can break.
Oh, sure. You got to check your system.
Or what tends to happen, and I saw this a lot last year, is we'd get little speckles of rain throughout Houston, and certain people's systems would turn off because it said it rained somewhere.
Yeah, well, they had set too low. So, yeah.
Or something.
Setting
and
on it.
So
there's always,
especially with those ratio, however you say it, those ratio systems. They have these smart settings.
oh, yeah.
Turn that crap off in the summertime and control your own irrigation. Okay?
I want to point out something also. Most people want to water 15 minutes in the morning or something like that, 12 minutes. The problem with watering that long at one time is you have a lot of runoff and we have clay in the ground. So after you water about 2 inches, that water has no place to go except down your driveway, down your street. Now, with that being said, your lawn's not getting any of that water. Your water bill is getting higher. So if you adjust your sprinkler system to go off 2 or 3 times a day at 5-minute increments, you're still getting the same amount of water, but it's not running down the street and it's all going to your plants. Because regardless, we have the same evaporation rate every day.
Okay. That's again where we're going to agree to disagree. Okay. Now, I would say, and this is why I offer in my business now, an irrigation audit. All right. I come through. I want to see how everything works because each zone is different. Heads are different. You have sides of your houses that are real small. Your neighbor waters, you water, you get a puddle every day, and you're like, "Well, it's so wet right here. Why is my back or front yard dry?" Right?
Sure.
So, and then what I've experienced is that duration beats frequency. So if you can absorb a 10-minute watering, which you do make a good point, we don't want runoff. That's pointless.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100% there. But we need to find out what the maximum capacity is of irrigation that we can take in. So some of my lawns, a lot of them can handle a 10-minute watering on their bigger areas without getting a lot of runoff.
Sure.
So
Or if they got sand or something like that.
or they got that healthy grass that's high because it's fertilized by a hippie, you know what I'm saying?
That definitely plays a big role in it.
Huge. So also the taller you grow your grass, the better it'll absorb because those grass blades are higher. It's kind of capturing it and it has a deeper root zone. So it slows down infiltration naturally and helps with absorbability versus if you're telling your lawn care guy to cut your grass short all the time, you're ruining your own water infiltration.
Yes. And you're burning your lawn up and then your lawn's weak and then you start having the chinch bugs and everything else that goes along with a stressed out lawn.
Yes. Oh, it's a battle, right? So in certain cases where we're just getting lawns going, right? And they're not healthy. Yeah, definitely that multiple times I think is very beneficial, right? But when they are already healthy, I think again trying to maximize your duration and doing it like twice a week, even in the peak of the heat, because you should only water at maximum frequency when we really, really need it, like August, right?
Yeah.
And we may really, really need it this summer with how hot it's feeling.
July.
Yeah, right.
June, yes.
So again, it's a dynamic thing. It's changing all the time. That's why I will tell you all the time, don't trust that sensor, okay? Yes, it's good to have one. You're supposed to have one on your system. But don't always trust it. And if you can, get a Wi-Fi setup for even better controllability. Like I fertilize lawns. Hey, Susan, I just put such and such down. I need you to water your grass.
And the great thing about the Wi-Fi is they can give you access through your own account to water their system for them. If they're not there, you can look on it and you can do it from your own phone as a contractor for the people.
Now that is awesome. That's something I've heard about a little bit. I haven't done it yet. I haven't offered that to anybody, but I should. I will be looking into that sooner than later, because it's like lawn maintenance and irrigation are variables. Well, now kind of I've taken that variable into my own hands as much as I can, or as much as the customer will let me. The lawn maintenance I don't do, so it's a variable that's out of my hands. But controlling those two variables adds to the success and the health of your lawn.
Oh, definitely.
Yes. Now, John, having 30 years experience, what do you say are a couple of the biggest problems that you ran into consistently?
Wow. On what topic do you want to talk about?
Like, I talk about lawns all the time. Nobody knows grass like a hippie, but he's been in landscaping. So let's say on a landscape aspect, because I'm thinking, when you did landscape installations, did y'all bring in extra soil?
Yeah, this is a great topic to talk about. Soil. When you put soil in your beds, all you're doing is putting it on top of the beds. But when you plant new plants and you bring plants in, you actually have to dig the hole and put good quality soil in the holes of the plant, so the plant has good soil, right? And a lot of these landscapers I've noticed, they'll come in and they'll mulch your beds. Before that, they'll put 2 inches of potting mix down. It's really not doing a whole lot for your existing plants, because your existing plants are already down in the soil if it's bad soil. So when you plant new plants, you need to make sure you put the good soil in first.
In the bed.
In the hole where your plant is. So the roots have the good soil, not just lay it on top like I see all these lawn services doing.
Yeah. So, in our industry and in every gardening world, right? You amend the flower bed.
Yes.
Right. Don't do a little topical solution. It's not going to be very fruitful. What I was always told or learned years ago is you're better off having a $1 plant in a $10 hole versus a $10 plant in a $1 hole.
100%.
Right. So the soil matters.
You're not fertilizing your plants, guys. You're feeding the soil, and the soil is the one that makes the plant grow. So if you don't have the soil and the nutrients, you might as well not even have a plant.
I promise y'all, you know me, I love soil biology. None of that was scripted, okay? That is years of experience.
But, I mean, I try to get people to buy good soil when they buy their plants, and I can't tell you how many people, oh no, I got great soil.
No, nobody around here has great soil. If you tell us you have great soil, you either already bought it from us or you're lying.
or you just don't know, and you're just assuming, hoping for the best.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to throw y'all under the bus here. I say you're lying because, like, hey, I already spent, a couple $100 on plants. Why do I need to buy compost or something?
Correct. That's the thought.
Yeah, and let me tell you, here's why you spend an extra 15, 40, 60, 100 bucks on compost. It's plant insurance,
Pretty much.
right?
Yep.
Uh,
It's breaking down. It's working for you,
yeah,
for your plant all the time. If you don't have time to fertilize it, it's making it for it, the compost. So
yeah. So, and what do you carry, John?
Hippie blend.
No,
I know.
he does have my fertilizer. He's the only nursery in town who does have my fertilizer.
Heirloom soils I carry.
Yeah.
Landscape pride. And those are the two main ones I carry.
And I've used both. I really like both. I find they both work great. It just really depends on the application, what I'm trying to do with it. I find that like the heirloom soils leaf mold compost is really great, fine, clean stuff. That personally, I've used it on top dressing. I've used it with installing my plants. I would have to say it's a better product when installing plants.
Oh yeah, I try to sell a bag for every tree at least,
Yeah.
and I try to explain that to people. But it's great soil, great,
and then
great product.
and then to like top it off. Now this is just my personal favorite. What is that Landscaper's Pride black humus?
Oh yeah,
Ooh, as a compost or a mulch
yeah.
even.
Yeah, as a mulch. I have a lot of people, landscapers, use it for mulch. It's good stuff.
It's beautiful, it's natural, it's dark, and then it breaks down well. So it's further amending the soil of your flower bed versus dyed mulches like red and black. They don't break down too well.
That orange mulch is just ground up 2x4s. It serves no purpose. It doesn't hold the heat in. It doesn't hold the water in. It's just there for looks. So
and it seems like those cheap dyed mulches even like mold over or get a fungus cap. I like to call it a fungus cap faster.
Yeah.
Right. Versus like the black humus or even the natural hardwood breaks down, works better.
Pine, cedar.
Yeah. Cedar's good and it's pretty. But the dyed mulches, man, I can go over to anybody's lawn any time of day and just pick up a whole cake of this stuff. Right. And it's hydrophobic.
Yeah.
So it's not allowing water to go down into your soil. It's not allowing airflow and oxygen. I know it's pretty, guys.
Here's what you have to do, guys, is at least once a month, you need to turn your mulch.
Once a month?
Once a month.
Okay.
I mean, when the lawn service guys are out there, they should be turning it to fluff it up. And the reason it's fluffed up is so water can get through it.
Water can get through it, and it breaks up that fungus cap.
And that layer, yeah.
Which, don't get overexcited about this when I say fungus.
It's just natural process.
It's a natural process. This doesn't mean go out and put a fungicide on it. That's not what you need. It's not a bad fungus in and of itself. It's not harming plants. But you not turning the beds is what can harm the plants.
Yep, it becomes waterproof. No water can get through it.
Right, or air. So it's creating a whole lock, and you're like, I water all the time, and then you can go peel back that stuff, still freaking dry, huh?
Yep.
Even after a good heavy rain, dry. And they're like, oh, my ligustrum's died. Well, when's the last time you turned your mulch? What's your common answer on that?
Never.
No, mine is... You mean I was supposed to turn my mulch?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Man, and with your nursery, don't you have a watering system where you make up like basically your own cocktail of nutrients to feed your plants while they're at the nursery?
Oh, definitely. In the summertime, June, July, and August, it's important to have some seaweed and stuff like that to help with the stress of your plants and your lawn. It's a game changer.
So John whips us up his own nursery juice.
Yeah.
You know, like we got the hippie juice. He's got nursery juice. And you even have, why do the words elude me? Worm tea?
Worm tea.
Yeah.
Worm tea. We got about 150,000 worms now.
Yeah?
We make our own worm castings and our concentrated tea.
Uh-huh.
We have it at the nursery in 3 different sizes. It's unbelievable stuff. My wife was upset with me because I spent $4,000 on a worm table.
What?
Yeah, and then I made the compost and stuff or the worm tea, and she used it, and her whole attitude changed. Her plants are coming back to life that she mistreated, and it's been a game changer using the worm tea.
I've used it a few times, and I need to use it again because I bought some stuff recently. As y'all may know, I like to go to the site Rocky Mountain Bioag because they sell that weed killer
Oh yeah,
that I like.
Yeah.
They have other pretty cool stuff that they recommended. They have this stuff that's some quantum growth organic. It's a photosynthetic bacteria and a the other bacteria starts with an H. Of course, the word eludes me now. My point is, when I open up those bottles and smell this stuff, it smells the same as your worm tea.
Oh yeah, it's the
know?
microorganism they're living and eating and breathing, and that's a live product.
Right. And so my speculation, and this is purely speculation, people, we haven't tested it for strands or anything, but sometimes when you smell stuff, right, it's for a reason, so it's giving off some similar components. And when I bought your stuff, I'm used to 6-7 years of like microlife products, which are great, but you can have a very heavy hand with them, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay, or you need to have a heavy hand with them in a lot of cases to get the desired results, right? And my point being with this is I tried your stuff. I had a heavy hand with it because I'm thinking, oh, it's worm tea. I throw this everywhere. I want to throw down a gallon on my lawn, right? So this quantum growth stuff from Rocky Mountain Bioag says I only need to be using like 14 ounces on the lawn in my mix.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Right.
It goes a long ways.
So I'm kind of speculating that I need to follow like the same procedure essentially with your worm tea.
Well, the concentration worm tea from everything I've read is 10-to-1 ratio. You mix it, 10 parts water, 1 part worm tea. But the great thing about the worm tea, I can go 100% onto a plant and it's not going to kill a plant. If you did that with regular fertilizers, you'd kill the plant, right?
Right.
So you can dilute it, but you don't have to worry about.
So check this out. He says that, and if y'all know me at all, I will throw a whole $60 bag of fertilizer down in one spot just to see how it responds, okay? I have done it. So when I tell you, hey, this is how much it can take to do something or not do something, you best believe that I've spent hundreds of dollars throwing down that product like an idiot, right? Just to see, like, what's it going to take? Some products don't take much, right? Yeah. But other products, and again, I reference like MicroLife. People are like, oh, it's great, it's organic, but sometimes you need more than what they recommend to get that pop.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to go get a half a gallon from you, and I'm going to pour it on one plant at my house and see what happens.
Okay.
So I'll come back here and I'll tell you, hey, man, I ultra juiced one of my roses with worm poop tea. And here's what happened, okay? Because also something to consider is because it has all that bacteria and it's so nutrient rich that if you are using another fertilizer with it, you really need to back off on how much you're using both because it will make them stronger.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So even, say like if you have a Medina has to grow lawn, great stuff. Love it. Yeah. But if you're putting worm tea in there, you could like use half of the recommended dosage of the has to grow lawn because it's going to be that much more impactful.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what they said with that quantum growth, right? They're like, hey, if you mix this, especially in summertime,
Goes a lot further.
it goes further, and you want to back off because it will speed up the nutrient release. And so even though I use stuff that has things like I love urea methylene. It is an excellent high quality slow release, but it will still speed up that slow release process.
I got you.
So yeah, I'm gonna test the tea further.
So when people are out there and you're buying tea from other people will put stuff in their tea, and I add stuff that seaweed this time of year when I make my tea for the stress of the plants. But everything I put in my tea is 100% organic. There's no chemicals, nothing like that. So just when you ask if you're buying it online, just make sure you're getting the right stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And I would say, I'm sure you have plenty of experience in many different facets of landscaping and now the nursery business. Now, is there things that you've learned different from going from landscaping to the nursery business?
Oh, definitely. It's a lot harder to keep plants alive in a bucket above ground than it is in the ground.
Okay. Yeah, like don't hand me potted plants. They will die, okay?
Yeah, it's work. It's love. It takes a lot to keep that stuff green this time of year.
But let's say, for those many years, you were the guy going to a nursery buying the plants, right?
Correct.
Now that you are the guy that the plants are being bought from, what would you say your perspective is now? Being like on basically a different side of the industry.
Yes, definitely on a different side. When you're buying a plant, you want the best for your customers.
Right.
But as a purchaser like I am, I want to buy the best plants. But sometimes, you don't get the best plants because the guy that sent them to you sneaks in 4 or 5 bad ones. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So
it's like putting down sod, right?
Yeah.
You get a few shitty pieces, speckle them out. Hopefully the homeowner won't notice.
That's how it is. So, we do have a section at our nursery that we call the hospital that we sell our plants out, and they're 50 to 65% off all the time.
Yeah.
Because they're just not A quality plants, or maybe they didn't get watered 1 or 2 times. So we got to nurse them back to health. But I know there's a lot of people out there that like to nurse plants back to health. So we do have a very large section, probably, 500 to 1,000 plants back there that need help.
Yeah, I've seen that section.
Yeah.
And he carries lots of good stuff to help with that revitalizing process.
Yeah.
I like to think maybe you've learned a little bit from me working with me about that stuff too. So I know like he carries the stuff for the juice and all that. But man, John, thank you so much for showing up today on such a short notice. Where is the nursery?
We are located at 1515 Dickinson Avenue, Dixon, Texas. We are located directly behind All American Self Storage. You have to drive through the parking lot to get to us. We are in the process of changing the name to The Hidden Gem because it's hard to find.
And there's lots of good little hidden gems in there.
Yes.
Beautiful roses, beautiful plants, good variety, good person to go ask about like gardening, landscaping, things like that. So again, thank you, John, so much for showing up, especially on such short notice.
No problem.
And,
thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Check out hippiefertilizing.com. He carries Hippie Blend. I got Hippie Blend.
And the Hippie Juice.
And the Hippie Juice. And just know, nobody knows grass like a hippie. Y'all have a groovy day. Peace.